Tonight we have 5 deliciously dark tales for you. Let's find out how a sweet treat can turn deadly, and make sure to stay to the end when we learn about a murder on the high seas. But first, here's Death by Chocolate. In the quaint town of Willow Valley, nestled among the whispering pines and foggy marshes, there stood a cozy bakery known for its delectable chocolates. The aroma of cocoa wafted through the air, drawing locals and tourists alike. Little did they know, each bite of these chocolates carried a sinister secret. It began with Mrs. Ormella, a sweet old lady with a fondness for sweets. Every afternoon, she would visit the bakery, her eyes lighting up at the sight of the gleaming chocolate truffles. One rainy Wednesday, she took her usual seat by the window and ordered her favorite, a box of assorted chocolates. Unbeknownst to Mrs. Ormella, the chocolatier, Mr. Gripter, harbored a dark grudge against the town. He carefully infused each chocolate with a lethal dose of a rare poison obtained from the depths of the nearby swamps. As Mrs. Ormella savored the creamy delights, a subtle bitterness crept through her senses. Hours later, the peaceful town was shaken by a chilling discovery. Mrs. Ormella lay motionless on the bakery floor, her lips stained with chocolate, eyes wide open in terror. The coroner confirmed the cause: death by chocolate. Whispers spread like wildfire through Willow Valley. Some believed it was an unfortunate accident, while others suspected foul play. As days passed, more incidents surfaced, each victim succumbing to the irresistible allure of poisoned chocolate. The once thriving bakery now stood abandoned, its windows boarded up, a haunting reminder of the sinister deeds that unfolded within. Locals avoided the area after dark, fearing whispers of Mrs. Ormella's ghost roaming the streets searching for justice. To this day, the legend of death by chocolate echoes through Willow Valley, a cautionary tale of how even the sweetest indulgence can conceal the darkest intentions. Death by chocolate, a sweet revenge. In the heart of the bustling city of Athenville, where skyscrapers loomed over narrow alleyways, there stood a renowned chocolatier named Madame Notoirte. Her shop, adorned with vintage lace curtains and flickering candlelight, lured in patrons seeking the finest chocolates in town. Little did they know, each confection crafted by Madame Notoirte carried a deadly secret. The story began with Detective Fredrickson, a seasoned investigator known for his sharp wit and insatiable sweet. He frequented Madame Notoirte's shop, mesmerized by the rich aroma of cocoa and the delicate artistry of her chocolates. One cold winter evening, after a grueling day of chasing leads, he stopped by for his usual treat, a box of assorted truffles. Madame Notoirte, with her icy demeanor and piercing gaze, harbored a deep resentment toward those who thrived while she struggled in the shadows. With meticulous precision, she infused Detective Fredrickson's favorite chocolates with a potent poison extracted from rare Amazonian plants, known only to a select few. As Detective Fredrickson indulged in the decadent delights later that night, a subtle numbness crept up his fingers. Ignoring the faint warning signs, he continued to savor the bittersweet flavors, unaware of the lethal trap concealed within. Hours later, Athenville was jolted awake by the news. A respected detective found lifeless in his apartment, an empty box of chocolates by his side. The city mourned the loss of a hero, while whispers of foul play echoed through the streets. Suspicion fell upon Madame Notoirte, whose shop now stood ominously quiet, draped in shadows and unanswered questions. Detective Fredrickson's colleagues, driven by grief and determination, unraveled the sinister truth. Each piece of evidence pointed to the vengeful chocolatier, whose sweet facade masked a cold-blooded desire for retribution. Madame Notoirte was apprehended, her icy composure crumbling as she faced justice for her heinous crimes. The once celebrated chocolatier now haunted Athenville's nightmares, a cautionary tale of how even the most innocent indulgence can become a deadly weapon in the hands of a vengeful soul. Death by chocolate, a bitter betrayal. In the picturesque village of Oakfield, where cobblestone streets wound past quaint cottages and blooming gardens, there existed a hidden gem, a modest chocolate shop owned by the enigmatic Miss Nanita. Her chocolates, renowned for their exquisite flavors and mysterious allure, drew visitors from far and wide. Yet, beneath the surface of this idyllic setting, lurked a tale of betrayal and murder. It all began during Oakfield's annual chocolate festival, a joyous celebration where locals and tourists alike reveled in the decadent treats. Among the festivities, a rivalry simmered between two chocolatiers, Miss Nanita and the charming newcomer, Mr. Findare. Their creations vied for the coveted title, Best Chocolate in Oakfield. On the eve of the final judging, tragedy struck. Lady Margaretta, a prominent socialite and avid supporter of Miss Nanita's chocolates, was found lifeless in her mansion, a half-eaten chocolate truffle clutched in her hand. The coroner's report revealed a lethal dose of cyanide, cunningly concealed within the velvety sweetness. Detective Chocheris, a shrewd investigator with a penchant for puzzles, was called to unravel the chilling mystery. As he delved into Oakfield's secrets, he uncovered a web of deceit and hidden motives. Lady Margaretta's connections to the rival chocolatiers and her role as a judge in the festival cast suspicion on everyone involved. Miss Nanita, stoic and reserved, harbored a tragic past intertwined with Lady Margaretta's family history, a revelation that shattered illusions of innocence. Meanwhile, Mr. Findare's charming facade crumbled under scrutiny, revealing a desperate ambition fueled by greed and jealousy. As the festival reached its climax, tensions escalated, and Oakfield's once tranquil streets buzzed with suspicion. Each chocolate sampled became a potential clue, each smile a mask holding a sinister intent. With time running out, Detective Chocheris raced against the clock to uncover the truth before another life was claimed. In a dramatic twist during the final tasting, the murderer's identity was unmasked, a shocking betrayal that left Oakfield reeling. It was revealed that Mr. Findare, the charming newcomer, harbored deep-seated resentment and jealousy toward Miss Nanita's success. Lady Margaretta, a staunch supporter of Miss Nanita's chocolates and a judge at the festival, inadvertently stood in the way of Mr. Findare's ambitions to win the title of Best Chocolate in Oakfield. Driven by his desire for recognition and fueled by envy, Mr. Findare succumbed to the temptation to eliminate his rival's staunch supporter. He carefully planted the cyanide-laced truffle, intending for Lady Margaretta to meet a tragic end during the festivities. However, Detective Chocheris' keen observations and relentless pursuit of the truth exposed Mr. Findare's treachery before he could evade justice. The revelation of Mr. Findare as the murderer sent shockwaves through Oakfield, shattering the illusion of innocence in the picturesque village. It served as a stark reminder that behind the allure of luxury and the sweetness of success, darker intentions could lie hidden, waiting to unleash bitter consequences. As Oakfield mourned the loss of Lady Margaretta and grappled with the betrayal within their midst, Detective Chocheris' investigation served as a poignant reminder of the complexities that underlie even the most seemingly idyllic settings. Death by Chocolate: Dark Secrets in the Airbnb. Nestled in the serene countryside surrounded by rolling hills and whispering pines, stood an inviting Airbnb cottage known for its rustic charm and tranquil atmosphere. Little did its guests know, this retreat held a sinister secret waiting to unfold. It was a stormy weekend when Georgina and Isaac, a young couple seeking a peaceful getaway, arrived at the cottage. The host, Mrs. Harperton, greeted them warmly, her smile masking a hidden agenda. The cottage, adorned with antique furnishings and flickering candles, exuded a cozy allure that masked the darkness lurking within. As Georgina and Isaac settled in, Mrs. Harperton insisted they try her specialty: handcrafted chocolates infused with local herbs and spices. Eager to indulge in the local delicacies, they accepted her gift with gratitude, unaware of the deadly trap concealed within. That night, as the storm raged outside, Georgina savored a chocolate truffle, its rich flavors tingling her taste buds. But within moments, a creeping numbness spread through her body, sending chills down her spine. Isaac, alarmed by Georgina's sudden illness, rushed to her side only to find Mrs. Harperton's serene facade crumbling under his accusing gaze. The truth unraveled in a haze of panic and suspicion. Mrs. Harperton, driven by a dark obsession with the cottage's history and its previous inhabitants, had meticulously planned each detail. The chocolates, laced with a rare toxin extracted from the nearby woodland plants, were her weapon of choice, a sinister means to protect her secrets and preserve the cottage's dark legacy. As Georgina fought for her life, Isaac confronted Mrs. Harberton, who crumbled under the weight of guilt and desperation. The tranquil Airbnb, once a haven of serenity, now echoed with accusations and cries for justice. In the aftermath, as Georgina recovered and Mrs. Harberton faced the consequences of her actions, the cottage stood empty, its charm tainted by the shadows of betrayal. Guests whispered of the chilling events that unfolded, a cautionary tale of how even a simple indulgence can become a deadly trap in the hands of a host harboring dark secrets. Death by Chocolate, Shadows on the High Seas. The SS Serenity cruised through moonlit Caribbean waters, its opulent decks a playground for the wealthy and adventurous. Dr. Jacqueline Parker, a renowned forensic psychologist seeking respite after a particularly taxing case, found herself drawn into the elegant world aboard the luxury liner. The ship's grand ballroom glittered under the starlit sky during a lavish dinner, where guests reveled in the ambiance and Chef Antoine Moreau's culinary masterpieces. Captain Sebastian Hayes, known for his charisma and attention to detail, ensured every moment aboard the SS Serenity was unforgettable. On the third night of the voyage, tragedy struck during the decadent dessert course. Mrs. Zarina Chiller, a wealthy widow known for her extravagant tastes, collapsed at her table after indulging in a trio of chocolate delicacies meticulously crafted by Chef Moreau. Her sudden death stunned the dining hall, leaving guests and crew alike in disbelief. Dr. Jacqueline Parker, with her keen eye for detail in human behavior, observed the scene with a professional curiosity tinged with concern. As the ship's medical team rushed to Mrs. Chiller's aid, Jacqueline noted the peculiar expression frozen on the woman's face, a mix of surprise and discomfort that hinted at something amiss. The next morning, Captain Hayes, recognizing Jacqueline's expertise, sought her assistance in investigating the suspicious death. Intrigued by the puzzle and eager to uncover the truth, Jacqueline embarked on her own discreet inquiry, interviewing crew members and passengers discreetly. Chef Antoine Moreau, whose desserts had been both celebrated and now scrutinized, caught Jacqueline's attention with his guarded demeanor and evasive responses. She sensed an underlying tension surrounding him, especially after uncovering murmurs of a heated argument between Chef Moreau and Mrs. Chiller regarding the quality of his creations. Delving deeper into Mrs. Chiller's background, Jacqueline discovered a hidden compartment in the widow's cabin containing letters hinting at a clandestine affair and a substantial inheritance, a revelation that added a layer of complexity and motive to the investigation. As Jacqueline meticulously pieced together the events leading up to Mrs. Chiller's death, tensions aboard the SS Serenity escalated. Passengers whispered in hushed tones, casting wary glances at the once celebrated desserts now tainted by suspicion. Days turned into a whirlwind of interviews, forensic analysis of the desserts, and careful scrutiny of every interaction among passengers and crew. Captain Hayes provided unwavering support, recognizing the gravity of the situation and the importance of uncovering the truth for the sake of justice and the ship's reputation. In a pivotal moment during a moonlit gala, Jacqueline confronted Chef Moreau with her findings, an accusatory tone tempered by the weight of evidence gathered. His composed facade cracked under the weight of her revelations, revealing a desperate scheme driven by pride and fear of losing his position aboard the prestigious cruise liner. Chef Moreau's confession echoed through the ship's halls, admitting to manipulating the desserts with a lethal dose of a rare poison to silence Mrs. Chiller and protect his reputation. His chilling admission stunned those gathered, who had once admired his culinary prowess. With Chef Moreau apprehended and the truth exposed, the SS Serenity resumed its journey through calm waters, albeit with a sense of somber reflection among passengers. Jacqueline, weary yet resolved, retreated to her cabin, contemplating the fragile balance between trust and deception encountered amidst the allure of the high seas. As the cruise ship sailed toward the horizon, a sense of closure settled over Jacqueline, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit in confronting darkness, even aboard a vessel designed for escape and indulgence.